It has rained for some time here at Daytona, several showers pelting the 2.5-mile high-banked oval. But about an hour ago, we got some blue sky. They've been drying out the track, and we're just about to a green flag condition for the first of the Twin 125-mile qualifying races. And a crowd that looks to be over 50,000 sought shelter. They're back in their seats ready to go racing. So are we, and let's meet the pole sitter right now, standing by with Mike Joy.
Davey Allison, 9 different pole winners for the 500 have won their qualifying race. What are the chances of you being the 10th one today?
Well, Mike, Texaco Haviland Thunderbird's been running real good in practice. Of course, we qualified good last Saturday, but I'm real happy with the way the car's driving, and we're just anxious to get this race underway.
No gas gauge on this dash. Can you go the distance on one tank?
Yeah, we can go the distance, and we're going to top off. They want us to dry the track off, and then we're going to come in and top off, and we'll go all the way.
Davey Allison on the pole. The strategy, though, is a bit different further back in the pack. Let's join Dave Despain.
Way back here in 14th starting spot, we find Jeff Bodine. He's a former Daytona 500 winner and the winner of this race last year without stopping for fuel. I want to know what you're doing so far toward the back here anyway.
First, I'd like to say hi to all the girls and the guys over in Saudi Arabia. We appreciate what you're doing. This is strategy. The track is green. We knew it was going to rain. No rubber on the track. By the time I get to the corner, these guys will lay down some rubber. My tires won't be wore out. We'll be in good shape for the rest of the race.
If you believe they planned this way, we can make you a good deal on this Ford Thunderbird. Jeff Bodine coming from 14th spot. Remember, he has to finish 15th or better to be assured a starting spot in the Daytona 500. Now let's check the starting lineup with Ken Squire.
The starting order for the first 50-lap, 125-mile qualifying race. On the pole at 195.9 miles per hour, the Ford of Davey Allison. And alongside is Harry Gant in his Oldsmobile. Row 2 is the Virginia row, Rick Mast and Ricky Rudd there. Going to row number 3, it's Alan Kowicki in his Ford out of Wisconsin, and the 85-87 champion Bill Elliott. For row 4, making his 31st entry into the 500, is Richard Petty and Dale Jarrett. Row number 5 is Hut Strickland from Alabama and Michael Waltrip from Kentucky. Row 6 is the defending Daytona 500-mile champion Derek Koch and Mickey Gibbs. Row 7 from Pennsylvania, Jimmy Spencer, and the 86 Daytona 500 winner, Jeff Bodine. Row number 8, that's Jim Sauter and Phil Barkdahl. Row 9 is an all-rookie row. The ex-sprint car champion, Sammy Swindell from Tennessee, and Ted Musgrave from Wisconsin. In row number 10, it's Eddie Biersquale from Texas, and Dorsey Schrader's here out of Missouri. Row 11, Rich Bickle from Wisconsin, and rookie Dave Mader. In row 12, Jimmy Horton from New Jersey, and Bobby Hillens back in car number 27, starting on the outside of that row. The 13th row is Greg Sachs from New York and Mark Stahl of San Diego, California. Row 14 harbors Brian Ross of Ballston Spa, New York, and Del McCoward of Savannah, Georgia. And rounding out the field, 29th position from Augusta, Georgia, it's Phil Duffy.
Kim, as we prepare for the start of this first 125-mile qualifying race, we'll need to keep an eye on the grass on the inside of the racetrack in case the car spins out down there because of all the rain. That is very wet. A car will have no traction there. In fact, in past years, we have seen in a wet condition, cars actually dig into the mud and flip over.
The other thing, of course, when they stay on the track, they're going to have to be very careful coming to pit lane because, as you can see, that is the only place on the track that is still wet. And we are expecting some of these guys to have to come into the pits because of the extended running they've done under caution.
Additional risky business for 7 Fords, 8 Oldsmobiles, 7 Chevrolets, 5 Pontiacs, and 2 Buicks coming to the line, ready to take green. Pace car coming in. 125-mile qualifying races about to explode with Davey Allison and Harry Gant locked up in the front row. Chevy versus Ford, and on the break, it's the Ford of Davey Allison jumping out in front.
Gant there seemed to be just bogged down just a little bit on that start. Davey Allison made a tremendous run there to the line.
And on the outside, you saw Ricky Rudd making his run while Rick Mast drove the number 1 down to the inside. Now Gant comes back low in car number 33. Back straight away from Davey Allison's car, a view of those challenging him for the lead.
Look at Richard Petty making the move in car number 43, going back in.
Up to 4th. And from his in-car camera, here he is closing on Rudd. Richard making a run early in the going.
Making a good run now. These guys are going to be just a little bit cautious on these opening laps because the track has been extremely wet and will be just a little bit green to what they were used to yesterday afternoon.
First lap under green has Davey Allison out in front. Rick Masterson second. Ricky Rudd in third. Petty's in fourth. Harry Gant in fifth. Dale Jarrett up to sixth. Bill Elliott running seventh.
Petty now beginning to pick up on those front three. I had a feeling he would be strong in this race, Ken. We'll just see how he can do. Now Harry Gant drafting up on the back bumper of Richard Petty.
Trying to close in on Ricky Rudd as Harry Gant stays right there behind him. Gant in that fifth position. Petty in fourth. And there's your field, screaming through turns 3 and 4 off the 31-degree banking. Down into the tri-oval at better than 190 miles per hour. Allison stays on the point. Rick Mast out of Rockbridge, Bass, Virginia, car number 1. That Oldsmobile staying right there in second spot.
Remember a few years ago when 2 years ago when he ran so strong in the Daytona 500 as a rookie, led that race for quite a while. He knows how to get around here.
Lined up 1, 2, 3 in the back straightaway, and Petty just looking on from fourth position. There he is. There's Jimmy Spencer, and he is closed up from 13th to 8th in 2 green flag laps. Spencer being challenged on the outside by number 24, Mickey Gibbs. Wild racing up there in turn number 4, Ned. Scary stuff.
Mickey Gibbs making a bold move on the outside of Jimmy Spencer, a brand new team Mickey Gibbs driving for this year, headed up by Barry Dotson, a veteran crew chief. And his Pontiac running fast.
Made the pass look pretty good. Meanwhile, stacked right back in the middle of the pack is still Jeff Bodine, who is going to want to improve his starting position to make sure that he gets in the 500, one of Junior Johnson's cars. That would be an upset if he didn't make it.
Alan Kowicki pulled out to make a pass, and it cost him a couple of positions. Kowicki in the Army car, number 7, and Bill Elliott had pulled out to make a pass, and it cost him a few positions.
Hut Strickland's number 12, the Bobby Allison car, moving up through in that little confrontation.
Alan Kulwicki there to see that one car out on the bottom of the picture there, still alongside, completely left out in the cold there. Still staying down there, not going to be back in the line.
I'm not sure he's had an opening, David, that he could get back in the line, and it's cost him.
That is the problem there. You've got to rely on these chaps to let you back in line.
Ford, Oldsmobile, Chevrolet, Pontiac. 1, 2, 3, 4 in this first 125-mile qualifying race. Davey Allison staying up on the point. For a couple of years back, that incredible Daytona 500 when father and son, Bobby Allison first, Davey Allison second, drove across the finish line bumper to bumper.
Now his qualifying speed was about 45.9 seconds. Let's see what he does here in the competition. A little slower. Pulling a pretty good train back there, though.
A thought from Chris Economaki.
And Alan Kowicki, driving under the Army colors, is not in the top 14. In fact, he's in the second echelon, where that group seems to be falling behind the leading runners.
You saw Mark Stahls, number 82, pull onto pit road under green.
Now, another way they can get in the Daytona 500 is by their qualifying speed. Now, I think Alan Kowicki's qualifying speed was good enough that it would put him in the field in case he didn't finish in the top 14.
Man on the charge, Mickey Gibbs, the number 24, is pulled into 6th position. You saw Dale Jarrett slipping back to 7th. Spencer is in 8th, and Bill Elliott now lies 9th.
Dale Jarrett and Jimmy Spencer. Dale Jarrett there and Jimmy Spencer across the start-finish line here. Dale just slipping back into the line there. Ned, how do you feel about that?
Well, I was glad to see him get back in line. Otherwise, he'd be back there with Alan Kowicki.
Certainly would. Michael Waltrip left out in the cold now on the back straight as they go into turn 3.
Here you see Jimmy Spencer's number 98 fading up on the outside of Dale Jarrett in the 21 car in a battle for 7th position. Leader continues to be Davey Allison first, and right there Rick Mast, very smooth driver, and there's the battle for 15th. Last year's Daytona 500-mile champion Derek Cope, Spanaway, Washington, closes in on Jimmy Sauter. Right in front of them, Hut Strickland.